Welcome to the video. Today I'm covering my newest project, which I'm currently just calling War Simulation. I need to come up with better names. But here you can see I'm running the file, which is just simulating a war I have created using the app. Once this is over, I'll go into some more details about what kind of things this app does and then how I go about designing wars like this one. The last couple humans are being stubborn. And there we go. So zombies won that. So I'll walk us through designing a reinforcement for our human to see if we can change the tide of that battle. First, since we just looked at a war, I want to show off that I have a war log, and you'll be able to go and see all the details of that war, or any war you create. They will be saved to this war log. More on that later. But when you download this file, you'll have a zip file extracted to get these files, and then run the executable. With this open, press the F key to full screen it. And then to design a war, it kind of tells you right here on screen, just start from the top and work your way down. Really, these two you can kind of do interchangeable. You just build in attacks to assign to your units, to put into squads, and then to place into a war scenario. And then the bottom option is just to test the war you've designed. So I'm going to go ahead and design a new archer unit. Every time you enter a new window, you'll get a pop-up like this that kind of shows you the controls. So normally arrow keys or your mouse can let you select on the grid. Right mouse or the home key to see more information on that column. The tab key will add a new row to the bottom. When this list gets long, you can scroll it with page up and page down, or I think the mouse wheel, and then enter and backspace to either edit a field or backspace to return the main menu. So I'll go ahead and press tab, add a new attack. You can see I've already created a sword strike and a bite, which is obviously the move the zombie uses. So right now I want to create arrow shot for the archer. It's not going to be perfectly accurate. So this accuracy means 100 is 100%. It can be modified later based on unit attributes though. So it's possible to put over 100% and it can still miss based on other information. We'll get to that later. Here you can have up to 3 elements. This will determine damage multiplier based on weaknesses, resistances, that kind of stuff. Just press enter, and I can use the arrow keys left and right or spacebar to toggle through my choices. So an arrow shot's kind of like a pokes you. It's kind of like a stab. I don't need other elements. It's going to be a physical damage source, not a magical. Power, 100 sounds fine. The range on this one though will be a lot longer. And then these don't have ammo, so that means they can be used infinitely. But we'll say each archer holds about 20 arrows. Give them a limit on that. Charge time is about the attack speed. The larger this number, the less often you can perform the attack. Later you'll see the unit has an attack rate. So 100 attack rates on 300 charge time means they perform the attack once every 3 seconds. It's kind of like a division. So I think firing the arrow might take just a little bit longer than shooting or swinging a sword. So now I'm finished that. I hit backspace. You can see if I re-enter that screen, it did save. If I exit the app right now, it's saved. I guess I'll show that real quick. That's just also in this same folder where the war log is the save data. To access that folder, you'll just type %local app data, and this is where you can see temporary folders that projects and games and things, apps can save to your computer. So it's really the only location on your computer my app has permission to save to, and when you come here you'll see the save data and the war log. And that save data is going to look very confusing if you try to open it. So Just don't even mess with it. It's encrypted. But the war log, is very helpful. We'll look more at that later. Back to the game. Press that F key. So we'll go to the unit now. Same kind of message. So I will hit tab, enter. If I'm going too fast, you can pause at any time. But once you get your hands on this, everything's kind of self-explanatory. Like I said before, if I right-click on a field, I right-clicked on the unit in the unit name column. So it says give your unit a name up to 20 characters. For the size, there's 3 size options. Small, which is about human size. Medium is about twice that or more. Large is more than triple that size. Right click here, this option will open a new screen, blah blah blah. So any information you need, it's usually within the app. So unit name, size are good for Archer. I want to design their movement rate next. You can see on the Swordsman, I gave them a whole bunch of stuff. They're faster on the roadways, their normal speed on plains, a little bit slower on everything else. What this movement rate does is if your guy walks at 4 meters per second, well, this guy walks 25% faster on roads, and he also walks half speed in the water, so 2 meters per second instead of 4. And you can see the zombies I even made are unable to walk in the water. I'll show off how that works a little bit later. So the archers, I'm just going to try and remember what I did with the swordsman and do something kind of similar. Just, whatever. Damage rates, so they all default to 100. Critical hits would be 50%, 150%. For the zombies, I got a little creative. A headshot normally kills a zombie, so 400% damage there. Also gave a weakness to fire, which doesn't really apply in this scenario. So yeah, for the archer, I'm not really going to mess with these. This damage rate, I guess I should explain, is if they get hit with an attack and it said it was a cut type attack, like my sword was, they take 100% multiplier to that damage value. And there'll be one more calculation, and that's where we get to the attributes. So here's the attribute screen. Here's all the attributes you'll define. I can use arrow keys, and you'll see on the right side the description changes. So hit points, pretty standard. Strength divided by defense is a multiplier to your attack's damage, and then any other elemental multipliers, and that's how you get the final damage. Intelligence mentality is the same for the magic side of things. And then that accuracy we gave our attack before will then be multiplied by the attacker's dexterity divided by the defender's agility to get the final calculated accuracy. So I'll make these archers pretty accurate and pretty evasive. But they probably won't be wearing as heavy of armor as the swordsman, who you can see had 105 defense. These zombies are pretty weak, 50 defense, very not agile, so very hard for them to evade attacks. Speed is your movement speed. I kind of give you the calculations over there. It's kind of like a meters per second thing. And then attack rates, I think I described before, so I'm going with a 150 and 200 here. So I'll keep the archer the same as the swordsman. So this 200 would go into the 360 I had for the bow attack, and that'll be about every 1.8 seconds it'll fire off an arrow. And then just give them a critical rate. So if you put this at 100, every attack's a critical hit. If you put it at 0, they'll never get a critical hit. So I'll give them like a 6%. That just sounds kind of standard. And finally, to define some attacks for this unit, you can have up to 4. I just hit enter, and on the right side over here, I have a list of every attack I've created. So I'll give them a sword strike, because my second attack will be the arrow shot, since it's the archer. But if they run out of arrows, they need to have another attack they can use, and that's where the sword strike comes in. And so the AI right now is just going to say where I'm standing, where enemies are, what's the strongest attack I can do, and they perform that. If they don't have ammo for an attack, then they of course will ignore that attack. And we'll get to the AI here in a second, because next up, I finished units, so I hit the backspace, return to the main menu. Next, we'll define the squads. So similar kind of information here. If I press tab, I can add a new squad, and I will call this Survivor Rangers. we'll make the unit the archer. So this is kind of like with the attack command. You'll see a list of all units I have over there. And I'll make them have 16 in a squad, just like with the survivors, the swordsman survivors. And then right now, the only AI type is basic. I described how that works. They just find the best move they have in their current position that they're able to do, and they perform it until they're not able to perform it anymore, whether they're out of range of their target or they run out of ammo. Later on, I might add more AI types if this project gets a following and people are interested. And just kind of based on, what kind of interest is out there, what kind of AIs we can come up with. Now the squads are created, I can put them in the war. So you can see I have one war designed. Well, I call it example battle. I'll call it something different. Zombie apocalypse. So I created the humans, the zombies, the walkers. You can define the colors with a simple color scaler right here, and then you give them an allegiance. So the humans are 0, the zombies are 1, and the walkers are 1. So that tells you that even though they're separate armies, they're actually on a team together. But for whatever reason, I wanted to give them a different army name and color definition. And then you don't have to use all 4 armies, so I just elected to keep this one a nada and a 3. Map size, so you can see I had a 16 by 9 before. I've already created the map, but let's say I wanted to add an extra column on the end. I can change this value to 17. Map layouts, where I'm then going to edit the map, and you can see my new column was added on the side over here. So I'll go ahead and add a little bit more flavor to this map. Put some hills here, which will slow things down as I try to walk through them. Just put a mountain range over there. That's not going to get used probably anyway. And then to show off the zombies not being able to walk through water, I want to go ahead and just kind of make a little like river through here. They'll have to navigate around. Show you that the AI can actually do that. And that's about all there is to the map editor, though. You just press the shift key to change the tile type, and then you just kind of paint it onto the screen. So I could like throw a little desert over here. And when you're finished, hit backspace. Then next up, we'll place our squads on the map. So you can see here's my map. I already had the 2 zombie squads and this 1 human. So right up here on this tile, I'll click. I'll assign squad 2 survivor rangers. I can just toggle which army they're on, keep them on humans, which direction the arrow is facing. So if I make this a left, for example, you can see that arrow is facing left. And I just click on it again to edit it and make them face right. So I can click and edit. I can click an empty spot to add something new there. Following's not really important for this example, but I can make one unit kind of override their AI and make sure they follow a different unit. That's good if I had like a commander right here that this army's supposed to be following or something like that. Or if you just want one unit to always go after another at the beginning or whatever. I guess to show that off, like if this archer was to follow that swordman, I click following and it has me select a unit, and now he's following the unit that starts at 4x2y. And if I hit a blank space where there was no unit, it becomes NA again, so he's no longer following anybody. And now my war is finished. I'll backspace. It saves all that information and we can play it. So here's a list of all the wars. Actually, let me go. I was going to change one thing. Just go back to editing squads. I want to make these zombies a part of the Walker army. So now they're different shades of green. Just to show this off. So now here's the zombie apocalypse scenario. It's a 17 by 9 map. Humans have 2 squads with 32 total. They're versus the zombies and the walkers, who each have 1 squad with 50 in them. And I press enter. Here's our little preview screen, and then press spacebar when we're ready, and we're off. And now you'll see the zombies know they can't walk through water, so they're going to purposely try and move around. Meanwhile, these humans don't care. They'll slowly climb the hills, slowly trudge through the water to try and engage these zombies. The archer stopped. Apparently he's in range. Yep, he's already firing. They're all kinds of confused. Already have 10 walkers down, 15. The swordsman will engage. Oh wow, and this is a very different battle. Yeah, and we routed them pretty easy. Now you can see here it said war log exported. So if I exit the app, go to your local app data folder again. One final thing, we'll check this war log. And you can see zombie apocalypse, the date, the time, the war begins. Survivor Rangers from the human army had 16 total in their squad. Attacked this unit that had 50 with arrow shot. Did 3,200 damage. This is at the 19-second mark. They had 1 critical hit, 15 hits, no misses for 4 KOs. And the whole log just kind of reads out of that every calculation that was made. And even on these shorter lines, you'll see that this unit with the ID 3631 was defeated at the 33-second mark, leaving 32 humans and 50 zombies at that point in the war. And then the last zombie army with ID 630 was defeated at the 44-second mark. There's 32 humans remaining at the end of the war. They really kind of kicked ass this war. That previous war is also saved, so every new war will be saved at the top of the log. So this one we did 17 minutes ago, and you can just kind of see how that one played out. And then yeah, that's what there is to this project. So I kind of went through things fast. I might do more detailed videos later or add more to this project if it gets a following or any interest to it. But if you have any questions, please be sure to comment. Any questions, ideas, thoughts, comments. The download link should be in the description, so give it a download, tell me what you think. And that's about it. Yeah, thank you for watching.